All right, we're out here at Extreme Couture. The guy with his name on the building is Randy Couture, and he's here with us. How you doing? You've been busy, huh?
Yeah, I've been running around a little bit.
Yeah.
I took a week off after the fight, and then I had to go to Iowa, filming a hunting show. So freezing my butt off in 0 to -3 degree weather in Iowa,
Yeah.
trying to find a white-tailed deer. Wasn't so lucky, but
You didn't get one?
no.
No?
Saw a few, but nothing close enough to shoot. And it was really cold.
Yeah.
Went from there to Fayetteville for the fight for the troops, which was a good experience.
Yeah.
Got to go to the hospital and hang out with a bunch of the guys. Did a little seminar with some of the Special Forces guys and the Special Ops guys. Got to shoot some sniper rifles and stuff. So it was fun. It was good.
And you know what? I thought the UFC did a good job with the show. I don't know if you got to see the replay of the show, but they mixed in celebrities, helping to raise money, and a lot of experiences with guys who've come back and were injured. So I thought it hit home, and I hope they do it in the future. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I thought it was well done. I didn't see the broadcast, but I saw the celebrities and stuff on the big screens in the venue, and it sounds like they raised about $650,000 through the TV broadcast, which is a huge success. That's terrific. The show was a little crazy. I mean, he had the leg break, and then the next fight, the kid with the huge contusion on his forehead, and then Josh Koscheck knocked Yoshida into next week. The kid didn't get up for a little while, so I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But overall, the fights were good, and the troops really enjoyed it.
Do you think there's any chance there's some negative feedback, especially from the military? Because I know it sounded like behind the scenes, the Marines, when UFC did the card at Miramar, were a lot more receptive. They had them on the base. The guys were allowed to wear I think some of their uniforms, if I remember correctly. I think in the case of Fort Bragg, they couldn't get on the base, so they had to do it at the Fayetteville Arena, which looked like a nice arena, but they also weren't allowed to wear some of their uniforms. They got T-shirts. So I don't know. I just wondering if out of that comes any negativity, because you got a guy breaking his leg and another guy won't tap and he's getting his arm popped, and it was weird.
I don't think there'll be any negativity at all. I don't think they could have held it on the base. There isn't a venue big enough to hold that event and get as many troops as we got into that event. So they had to go to the center there, the Civic Center in town, and it was a much bigger setup venue. And then rather than try to require all those guys off base to wear their uniforms, they came up with the T-shirts. So everybody got a T-shirt. I must have signed 250 T-shirts that couple days. So I don't think you're going to see anybody complaining about that.
Good. Now, it just came out a couple days ago that you've got a new movie role. Now, I want you to talk about that, but the reaction to it has been interesting. So I'll tell you about the reaction, but tell me about the movie and what kind of time that's going to take.
Well, it's been this will be my 8th motion picture in the last 5 years. So it's something that I've been angling towards. The first was obviously through the UFC and Cradle to the Grave with Tito and Chuck, and we played in those fight scenes underground and all that. And that was kind of my first look at the process of making a movie, and was immediately intrigued by that whole thing. I spent a week there to shoot that 1 5-minute scene. It was pretty intense, a grind at the same time. But I've taken classes, I've gotten a real agent, I've been getting more non-fight related roles the last couple years, and last year obviously was a pretty good year for me. I had the red belt with David Mamet, who's a huge figure in the movie scene, and then the Scorpion King movie, which I got to star in. So I'm now just had meetings with Sly Stallone and the new movie he's putting together in the action genre. Of course, nobody does action like he does. And coming off the success of the new Rambo movie and all that, he's directing this and he's starring in it as well with Jason Statham, Jet Li, Forrest Whitaker, who's a highly acclaimed actor, and then my ugly mug. So and it's a kind of a mercenary, Blackwater-ish type film. Definitely an action film. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, the reaction online and from the fans is, well, hey, how can the guy fight? He's going to be busy for months upon a time. I mean, I saw people really critical of it and saying, well, clearly this is a bad decision. He's just not going to be fighting anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't know about all that. First of all, they don't have anything for me on the schedule. They got to let this whole thing settle out in the heavyweight division. And figure out what they want to do. There's tons of rumors flying around Chuck and Anderson Silva and all this craziness. I've talked to Dana myself. There's no merit in any of that. They may be fishing for some action, but it's all rumors on the underground. And it's a 10-week shoot in March. It's not like it's 6 months. It's not like it's going to take forever. We'll shoot 3 weeks in Brazil and 6 weeks here in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Right.
So, I was in 6 weeks in South Africa for the Scorpion King.
Right.
Frankly, if this takes off and I continue to get good parts and can make a living and do what I like to do, why not go make some movies?
Right.
It's a lot easier than getting punched in the head at 45 years old. But I'm not retiring. Everybody's asking me if I'm retiring. Well, just going to wait and see. I'm in no hurry. I feel great. I'm still training. Everything's going well. So,
if all they had for you were a fight to 205, would you say, that's enough? Are you only interested in heavyweight, or is it it could change month by month?
I'm walking around at 225 where I've been my whole career. I can make 205 easily if there was an interesting fight there and something that, again, was competitive and made sense. Then I could make 205 pretty easily.
Right.
I'm not worried about that. I'm perfectly happily walking around at 225, 226 and fighting at heavyweight. But whatever makes sense.
Yeah. The Chuck thing to you, does it make any sense? Chuck Liddell in Germany?
I don't know if it makes sense. I'm sure it makes sense for the UFC. They're trying to open up the German market, and obviously I lived in Germany for 3 years. I speak okay German.
Right.
I have a degree in German, foreign language and literature. So, I'm sure that's the angle there. But, does anybody want to see Chuck and Randy 4? I don't know if there's a lot of interest in that. I have a lot of respect for Chuck, so if it came down to it and that's what they wanted to happen, I'd fight Chuck again.
Yeah. What about the Anderson Silva talk, potentially? Anyone at 205, but, you or Liddell would be interesting, especially you with the fact that maybe you could nullify and negate his striking by closing distance and taking him down.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most dynamic fighters in the UFC right now, and that would definitely be a challenge. He's long, he's got great striking, he's got terrific submissions as well. So, I think the wrestler's mindset is definitely the style that's going to give him trouble. I think Luder, had he been on his game that night, might have had a victory that night. A guy like Lindland, I thought Henderson was doing the right thing, and he, in the second round, he kind of got caught up in throwing leather, and that's just not the approach with a guy like Anderson. He's going to make you pay for that. So I've thought Henderson had a good chance of beating him. So, I'm sure Henderson would like a rematch. Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
See, to me, that would be the fight that would seem to excite you. At this point, you said you didn't come back to just fight anybody. You want challenges, so that would be a big challenge. And yet, I know you also. It sounds like you'd like a rematch or someone major at heavyweight too.
Yeah, well, I definitely asked for a rematch.
Yeah.
I'd like to fight Brock again. I just felt like I was doing the things that I needed to do to win that fight, and just got caught. And that's okay. That happens. So, I can walk away from that knowing that things felt good. I was doing the things, getting out from underneath him, controlling him in the clinch, doing the things that I needed to do. But a challenge would be important to keep me motivated and want me to go another 10-week training cycle and get back out there.